Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's game number 1 in a brand new best of 3. A player who you might recognize and a player who you might not. To the top right, the well-known, very well-established, very well off in life. He's got a significant other and he brags about it on Twitter all the time. I'm so sick of it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's
TLO.
I don't think I said that good enough. Hang on. It is the Blue Zerg.
TLO.
And his opponent to the bottom left, we got the Red Terran. Hopefully he's keeping his distancing social, because this is the Red
Future.
I love Future, by the way. He's not had the performance I've wanted to see out of him so far in 2020. I still stand by thinking that when Future is fully invested in this game and trying his hardest, he is one of the best players North America has to offer. No offense, TLO. Big love, dude. Boop, boop. But Future was on a real skyrocketing tear towards the end of 2019. Sadly, he's not seen too much crazy success in 2020. But with him grinding these cups out, I'm hoping this just kind of is an indication that he's still here. He's on the grind. He's on the practice. And yeah, I'm excited to see how he does versus TLO. Measured up against him, I do favor TLO, and it's up to Future to change my mind on that. But, ooh, one sec. Ooh, that neck crack was good. But at the same time, Social, aka Future's done a lot of cool things. I still like his bio best, but he, much like many other Terran, have kind of adapted to playing mech. So it is a big question of what the style will be for this game. I think what I do like in terms of like an opening for Terran is it's pretty malleable. Like even if you're gonna play mech, whether you're gonna play bio, you're still gonna go with this barracks into a factory opener. Reaper goes for the scout. Really good information to get over here too, because it is worth noting that while TLO is not classically too cheesy of a player, he is absolutely willing to hit you with a Roach Ravager rush. A couple of Zerglings get in over here too, with that Reaper not being at home, hoping to claim some easy SCV kills, but still ends up causing a lot of lost mining and delayed command center at the natural. I don't think Future killed more than a single drone. No, so this kind of sucks more for him. Losing the time on the command center, losing the mining time in the main base. I mean, blow for blow, it's pretty small scale, but definitely better for TLO. I just realized Reapers are like the best units at social distancing, because they can throw that grenade and make you stay the f away. Oh, can't fight these queens though. Sitting out here, I think he's hoping to snipe a creep tumor, but that's very much what TLO was guarding there. Roach Warren has begun. Whether this turns into something committed or not will be revealed soon. I do think Future, I read social and my brain thinks special, and I know it's not special, it's Future. Ugh. But I think what he really needs to do is get timing here on thirds. He hasn't been down to scout yet. He does not know whether there's a third base actually on the way for TLO or not. Whereas for TLO, as we can see quite clearly, because, you know, God Vision, it's roaches and a fast layer. Usually that spells Nidus Worm. But with Zerg letters in the Zerg alphabet. Which is probably not a written language, but more of a thought process. And probably a lot less of an alphabet, more of a... You know? You guys want to hear my best Zergling impression? It's not very good, but I'll give it my best shot. Here we go. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Roaches are going to see that Liberation Zone setting up, so a little bit scary to get in here. He does try and push back through the skinny part of the top side. Still takes some pepper though on these roaches. Liberties are pretty good. I think his plan was to take the damage and try and maybe morph them into Ravagers, but all this has really done is push Future's attack back, which is good. That's not a bad thing at all. It's given the freedom to take a third base, for example, but there's no follow-up to this. There's no way to really commit to this and do damage. So he's done a good job. The Liberator is going to get intercepted by the looks of it. It's actually going to wrap around backside. This is actually very important that he keeps the queens on top of this because there are no spore crawlers currently for easy mode defense. So TLO needs to be using the queens for the liberators. He cannot afford to pull these away to deal with reapers or hellions. That's what the roaches are going to be for. Speaking of which, down to the south, they do pose a huge threat. But yeah, nothing he can't manage with what he has. It's just kind of been, frankly, could auto attack it down. Liberator here a little too close for comfort. Oh! Looks like she's going to go down though. A lot of those aliens are pretty close to one-shot range. It's bio out of future, by the way. I'm very happy about this. Sorry, I've been focusing on the fight, not really on the production tab, but we got 1-1 for the bio as well as stim pack. I like this a lot because I think Future's playstyle just feels better with drops. Like, I think he's a very good multitasker, so you're going to see him around the map pretty consistently, not constantly. And if he keeps hitting the main base over and over again, then that's where TLO starts to crack. But TLO is a good enough player that I don't think he'll show a lot of weakness for this. There shouldn't be a lot of opportunity. And what's actually kind of funny is he's had vision to see not that it's bio. He'll confirm that here as he pushes in. But with Infestation Pit on the way, this will actually give him the tools he needs to deal with this a lot better. Whether that's through Hive Tech period or whether it's through something like an Infestor, fungal growths are still pretty sick. Wait, what are you guys talking about in chat? Censoring the F word? Dude, I can see the F word all I want. Fire truck. Fudge. Fuck. It does appear Twitch is censoring me. How can I get around this? I'm here for some fun times. Yeah? I'm gonna have some fun. Oh, it got me again. Son of a... I like to have fun in the playground. Little kids also like to have in the playground. No! Stop! Not funny. Not appropriate. Dial it back, Rifkin. That was a bad joke. We got Burrow. We got Burrow. Burrow's on the way here. That's going to actually be really nice for the roaches. I don't think we're going to see any sneak attack, but you can still heal them up pretty quick underground, but also be able to burrow drones from Hellion run-bys if those come into play, or drops will be forced to scan. Burrow's got a lot of utility to it. I don't think it's a crucial upgrade, but it's going to be a nice one to have. Quality of life upgrade, if you will. They stick on our roaches, which is a little abnormal, but if I do recall, we actually cast a really sick series of TLO versus Youth Thermal just a couple weekends ago, where he actually did manage to make really good use of roaches and ravagers against another really good Terran player. It's not usually the go-to, but if you get enough of them, you can overwhelm, and frankly, if you've got enough units, it doesn't matter what type they are. However, like I said, this game with bio, there's a lot more diversity for Future in this case. He could do some drops, but also you see him weaving in some Marauders now too. He's just gonna have a lot of units as well to match TLO's a lot of units. The key differences here are gonna be the Vipers and the Siege Tanks. The Vipers can make a real big difference in Blinding Clouds. Siege Tanks can make a huge difference just catching them off guard with a single blast. Future's actually had the economic lead this game, but I think that has a lot to do with TLO taking a little bit longer to get to this fourth base. Actually, it took him a little bit longer to get to the third base too, but I really think TLO was gearing up for an all-in earlier, and maybe something changed his plans, because I don't think we'd see him slack on a third the way we did if that was the intention to play super macro. Down through the middle of the map though, Marines and Marauders do march. These guys catch a couple of drones. All right, that's kind of cool. It's a pretty small commitment. They also see the Vipers, which I hope Future's taking note of. I keep trying to say special. I don't want to say special. It's social. 2-2's nearly done for both. So I don't think upgrades will have that big of a bearing on this fight. Armor's going to help versus the tanks a little bit, but they're still going to get blown to pieces by the tanks. You guys are getting so upset. All I said was kids want to have fun in the park. It's not my fault I got unfairly censored and it seemed like a different word. Oh man, this attack's actually pretty dope for TLO. That big surround of the corrosive biles take out the tanks. However, I don't think he's got enough to contest the rest of the bio. TLO's got more army supply, but the Marauders are just better. They're supported by these medevacs. The tanks on siege, stutter stepping in here. We got an errant spore crawl on the front line because that's just kind of an all hands on deck situation. And now this fourth base is very exposed. I can understand Future's hesitation to move in there because he did also lose a lot of units himself. But I mean, TLO's reinforcements are just more Ravagers. These can walk up, maybe corrosive bile some of the siege tanks now, but those Marauders and Marines safely inside the medevac should be able to get out of here in a pinch. Although there's a lot of Queens out here on the front line. That might just change. Another siege tank comes here. We got some Liberators setting up. If they set up here, they're going to be set up above the tank. Gotta dodge those corrosive biles, and Future now in retreat. That choke will favor TLO, so Future can't fight here anymore. But with more Liberators on the way, things are looking good. We do have Lurker Den for TLO, and TLO's been a very, very scary player who's been using Lurkers very well in his TvZs, or excuse me, ZVTs specifically. We got a first glimpse of this at Home Story Cup towards the end of last year, and he's continued improving since then with Lurkers. But Lurkers are dealt with very easily by Liberators, so TLO will need a way to protect them. They'll be huge assets to his army, but they're not automatic win units by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. That's a burrowed rush. You can't even tell it's burrowed. The little terrain platelets there too much, but storming on in, the siege tank does go down. Gets about 2 shots off before dying though, so not bad. Concussive shells catch a lot of these units, and there's not a lot of staying power here for TLO. Future continues to replenish the units he's been losing. Income-wise, like I said earlier, was favoring Future pretty nicely. Now it's really skyrocketing here too. TLO having lost control of these bases for mining, as we got Liberators set up all over the other side of the map. If these drones sit here, they're gonna die. Kill squads, death squads on all these bases, and he's being pushed back from the front lines. Concussive shells catching a lot of Marauders over here. Or, well, excuse me, no, catching a lot of Ravagers. So I was looking at the worker kill counter as I was speaking. The Marauders with concussive shells catch a lot of Ravagers, but in my old man fumble boomer speak here, it still means the same thing. So a lot of Ravagers died, a lot of drones died. They're gonna focus this base down, gets the hit, goes for the run, stim the hell out of there. And if TLO wants to chase this, concussive shell is gonna snatch up quite a few of those frontline units. So Future takes advantage of this situation. TLO down to 44 workers. TLO's like a macro machine god. This is not where he wants to be worker-wise. Other players might be comfortable around this style because they go for all-ins and they're used to it. Not my man TLO. TLO's the big numbers guy, and this is probably the worst case scenario for him right now. Not only is he just in this position objectively on his own, he's still going up against Future, who is playing to the hype I was hoping he would, frankly. Like I said earlier, I stand by it. Future's a really good Terran player, and it's good to see him playing on fire when he is. And that's kind of what we're getting a taste for today. Social equals Future. Yeah, his name, he changes his name a lot. Okay, the siege tanks actually, I love this move. Oh my god, the confidence to siege like that. He waited out. Oh, this is so sick. Quick little rewind. Very quick here, very quick. Look at this. He waits out the corrosive biles. He knows that if he sieges out the siege tanks right away, the corrosive biles will knock him dead before the fight really begins, right? So watch this, watch this. Future actually pulls them back. 1, 2, he knows there's like so many Ravagers, waits for 3 more, then sieges them up. By now, most of the corrosive biles have been used. There's no way to actually kill those siege tanks. That was so sick, and that was so slick. And while that goes on, we hop into game number 2. Now look, I know someone out there is probably screaming internally, Rifkin, why don't you just update the overlay so it says Future? Because this is a new OBS, and I've got everything from scratch built up from the ground, and I didn't think about including name templates. So if Future wins the series, I will update that for the future casts. Ha! Fun, unintended for once. How lovely. But for now, we'll just leave it where it is. To the top right, I'm praying for the comeback. If for no reason other than not wanting to do more production on my end, we have the blue Zerg player.
TLO.
To the bottom left, the red Terran. Up 1-0, it's not special. It is
Future. Future.
now, maybe, hypothesis. TLO looks at the brackets, as I've just done moments ago, and realized, wow, there's a lot of people signed up playing tonight. And we're still barely in the round of 16, not even in the round of 8 yet. Maybe. And I'm not saying TLO's throwing, but maybe TLO wouldn't be too upset if he lost this, because it would give him plenty of time to spend the rest of the evening with his wife for their anniversary. TLO would never throw a game, and I don't want to make any implication for it. I'm just saying that if he lost, I don't think it would be the worst case scenario for him. But I do hope to see him make a comeback here. I definitely think TLO in future should be a lot closer than that first game made it look. But also TLO did that roach style that I'm not super confident in. And I do remember the last time he did this, I was saying on stream while casting him versus Thermal, I don't think this is going to work. And then it worked. So I can't really count him out, despite his playstyle not being one I'm a super big fan of, at least in that build in that particular game. I do like TLO on the whole very generally, and I think he's so good at this game. So it really goes even further to speak and kind of prop up social, aka future, really than it is to tear down TLO when I talk about the game 1 victory for Terran. But also you could look at this from the other point of view, that all the other pros are, and Terran are just broken in this patch, is Terran favored, and there's no way to win against Terran. As I'm sure you've seen Rainer and many others tweet about. Carl, by the way, I don't know if I got this earlier. I don't remember shouting this out, but maybe you get a double. Either way, thank you for the 7-month resub. Just said hi. Hello. Hoping you're having a good Sunday, bro. Oh, by the way, some update news, and I'll talk about this a lot more in detail at the end of the stream. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. CET, which I believe is like 10 or 11 a.m. Pacific. I'll look into that later. We're gonna have the final match, the 5-game series, not a best of 5, but 5 2v2 matches played tomorrow on stream with BCQD and Max Packs versus Thermal and Goblin to finally finish up our month of 2v2s. That last match is worth $250, and it's the last thing we have to play. So that's going to be happening tomorrow bright and early. I only had that finalized and confirmed with the players not too long ago, so I haven't really got to announce it yet, but I'll do that properly at the end of the stream with a post, and hopefully I'll see some of your faces tomorrow morning. Stim again, which means bio again, which makes me very happy for a player who got away sneaking in a 3rd CC. TLO has not even poked into the main base with an Overlord, so doesn't actually know about this really greedy opening out of future. And this is not something easy to get away with, especially because Zerg players will be quick to punish players or match them in greed. TLO has no knowledge of this, so he's just playing at his own pace, in his own tempo. And that's well, that's gonna really suck. That Overlord's gonna get over here and see a 3rd base already becoming an orbital command center. At first, maybe his vision says, oh, he built this on the high ground, he must be scared. No, wait, that makes no sense. This is a 3rd CC, and the Overlord dies for it too. Pretty good number of Marines in play as well, something TLO's gonna have to worry about. He's also supply blocked at the moment. I will say this opening, not great for TLO, but I mean, this is far from being game deciding. Missed the times when TLO played Terran. Dude, looters, are you also somebody who misses Husky? Because that was forever ago. Get over it. I'm, of course, just making fun. If you guys don't know, TLO actually has a donation. Oh, I don't know if he still has the sub goal. He had this a little while ago. I know, because I haven't watched him stream in a little bit, but he had a sub goal where it's like if he gets like 1,000 subs or something, he'll consider playing Terran for a day on ladder or some shit. So if you really want to see, if you're really nostalgic for TLO, you're like, I miss TLO playing Terran, make it happen. You can do it. Base 3 TV, did you watch Rainer steamroll the EU Cup? No, this morning was, I was actually kind of busy this morning. I did want to cast the EU Cup, I actually really did, but now you've spoiled it for me, so I can't really go back and do that. So thank you for that, Xavier. Nothing makes me happier when people ask me if I know who won a tournament that I was hoping to cast for replays later. So, way to go, bud. Thanks for that. And on a very serious note, please don't ever ask me questions like that on tournaments that we cover. You want to ask me about GSL and stuff, that's fine, because I'm not going to be casting that. But I had planned to grab those replays and cast them, and now I don't want to because I already know who wins. So, thanks a lot for that, dude. A little bit bitter, not gonna lie, but we won't get hung up on it. Just using this moment to tell you guys, please don't ask me questions like that. Thank you. Oh, he's gonna get the hatchery. Gets a cancel on it though, so it's not too devastating. With the drone surviving, just remakes it immediately, but that's a pretty big timing setback. Luckily, there's another base finishing up. So I said earlier, TLO scouts the 3rd CC, and he could match it with his own greed, and 5 bases is certainly one way to do that. But 5 bases also spreads him pretty thin, and it's not going to be super easy to deal with this constant drop pressure. There's some banelings, and on creep without speed, maybe not bad at fight. What was that? Oh, someone gifted a skin. Mike Zeckham gifted a rogue skin to TLO on Stream Raiders. Ah. Yes, TLO does play Stream Raiders occasionally, and so does his wife, which is always fun to see them when they appear on the map. Spire in the upper right will be finishing soon. TLO's a guy who does like to play with a conservative amount of mutas, but he's also a guy who likes to go for a lot of mutalisks. Ooh, those are some good Bing connections though. Right side siege tanks are set up with a wall. No way to really push in here. That's gonna suck. Compact Disco says, man, now I miss Husky. Oh, maybe you should get caught up in what Husky's been doing and the way he has completely torched his fan base, dude. He doesn't care about you. You shouldn't care about him. Who is Social? Social is Future, North American pro player. Again, I will add his name on the overlay for future games. Pun this time intended, but I didn't have it set up for this one. Now this attack's actually really scary for TLO. There is a chance he gets some banelink connections and completely wipes out the Marines. But the idea with Future having his tanks in this kind of awkward position is that he needs a fallback location. It doesn't really matter if the tanks can reach the front line because the Marines will bring the banelings back and the tank fire should ideally take care of the banelings. Burrow play again. I like this a lot more than last game because TLO's really good at using landmines. Oh, the pulse around. This is like Raynor Tears of Carnage. I love seeing it executed pretty well. And TLO takes out most of this without losing too many banelings. That last tank shot though took out a good chunk of them in the middle, but pretty conservative banling losses overall. And it did stop the push. So TLO sits here on 77 drones. Fifth base took a little bit longer to get to because of the whole cancel situation to the top, but he does have that cooking while this goes on. 9 more Mutalisks looking to join the fight. Upgrades for them too, so he is committing. Let's go bring him up to about 18. I would say it doesn't get too bad until it's like 20 to 25. That's when things get really scary for the mutas. Or rather, that's when it gets really scary to deal with Mutalisks. Some Widow Mines might get a couple lucky shots. You do see him, he's kind of set up a couple. It takes 4 Widow Mine shots to fully kill a cluster of Mutalisks. 3 Widow Mines won't do enough splash damage to kill them. 4 will. So if TLO flies over that watchtower, I think this is like bait that's been set up at a social. I keep almost saying special. Damn it, budget special. If TLO sees those at the mutas, he may think, oh, free Marine kill. I'll just deny the scouting. If he does, flies into the Widow Mines, it could go really badly. But it's unlikely TLO will make that mistake. However, never rule it out. The focus fire here on the mutas is pretty cool. TLO realizing that was happening decides to withdraw. Where are the banlings though? Okay, they're setting up for the flank. There's some Widow Mines though he's got to be really cautious about. Oh, gonna get a taste on the mutas. Some nasty, nasty splash. Xavier, I am sure you had good intentions and wanted friendly banter, and I don't want to make you feel bad for that. Please don't at me. And for the other guys giving me shit, oh, you love people, why do you don't expect spoilers? No, I expect spoilers. Just don't at me with the spoilers. Like, it's really cool for you to discuss stuff in chat, no problem. It's when you at me that it forces me to look at it, and then I'm like, oh, cool, thank you so much for that. So again, I'm not trying to be too snippy. I just want to make it very clear. Without joking context, I don't want to hear spoilers about games I plan to cast. And now I won't be casting it. So there you go. Please don't do it in the future. Thank you. Let's end the conversation there. Ooh, Hive Tech coming up. Got some Hydralisks too. Possibly Lurkers. Probably Lurkers. It's TLO. So far, 100 Zerglings have died. The Widowmine Trap has been removed from play. There's still 17 mutas, which is pretty noteworthy, but nothing that can really directly engage. There's so many Marines in that Marauder. Well, that single Marauder is going to be on the front line being a cheerleader, really. With the Thor, the Widow Mines, there's a lot of splash damage here. TLO's got to be very cautious. He doesn't have creep advantage, so he doesn't have speed advantage. Taking these fights to the Marines will be very difficult. He's trying to keep the hatchery alive too. Drags the Zerglings through to hopefully splash damage, a little bit of friendly fire. Not quite gonna happen. TLO's army supply continues to dwindle. Where is it though? It says he's got a lot more than it looks like he really has. That last Widow Mine shot though takes out a huge chunk of the banelings. Mutalisks do take out the Thor though, so this is going kind of back and forth, but still favoring Future with these engagements. For TLO, the use of banelings in general, even on good connections, is still expensive. Once those units are used, they're gone for good, but a lot of them aren't getting used properly, and they are just getting sniped by Widow Mines or, frankly, really just good focus fire out of Future. Another base taken to the south, though. TLO's not going to let up. Even though he's getting pushed back, he continues to expand. But now he's supply blocked, and that really is not what he wants to be right now. If he gets the Lurker Den, and I'm saying if here pretty heavily, I do feel like there's a position TLO can take in this game that'll work well. Lurkers with hive tech range basically become Zerg siege tanks. And when that's the case, the Marines can't really push in so easily to catch the mutas the way we've been seeing this go down. But oh, this was a nice way to get around the defenses. There was a single Widow Mine pops off, so a bit of splash damage. But other than that, these mutas kind of have free reign of the base. The Future's going to have to dedicate and commit to defending this. But oh no, 2 Thors are a lot more difficult to deal with than just one. Spreading the mutas thin. They are going to catch one of the Thors. 2 of the Thors clump up and fly away, baby! And of course, through all of this, he has managed to bring Future back home. It's not stopped him from playing out on the map and not stopped him from expanding, production, but it brought him back home, which gave TLO breathing room to get his bases up and his production going and getting into his tech, Seismic Spines for the late game. Now, like I said, Seismic Spines is going to be what gives Lurkers 10 range. The fast burrow is actually a very important upgrade as well, but the 10 range is better because then you can kind of set up your own siege line of Lurkers, which not guaranteed to kill all the Marines, but will trade out a lot better than some of these baneling fights have been so far. Guys, my mom got me a new laptop, and every time you at me in chat, it heats up. I don't want to get burned. If you don't want to see me burned, stop adding me in the Twitch chat. Oh, there's still that Widow Mine to worry about. It pops off on the banelings instead. Not super crazy committed out of TLO, but I think this is still important cost value wise, where he's not really trading out super cost efficiently, but he is keeping Future at home, giving him the time to get these Lurkers out, which, oh shit, this Widow Mine's right here. That's gonna be a problem. Drilling Claws is done too, so he actually needs detection to remove Widow Mines. They'll no longer reveal themselves after they fire their payload. What's this? Greener Goblin says I'd pay to see Rifkin and Husky have a boxing match. Oh, the Widow Mine shots! He doesn't get the planetary. Oh, he does with the last 2 banelings. Okay, suddenly this is a little bit more worthwhile. Things got quite scary there. Thank you for the donation, Xavier. Flying around, there's triple missile turrets for these Mutalisks. While this was on, the Lurkers finally make their way into the field, but after the base dies. Anyways, I had a really snarky comment I wanted to respond to there, but we'll hold off for a second because, of course, the action's quite heavy right now. TLO's in a lot of danger. Like, this is Ralph Wiggum. Haha, I'm in danger. We're on the Lurkers, though. Instantaneous shreds this army to bits. Not that many mutas left, and oh no. If there's like 2 Lurkers up here, this whole army falls apart. They were so ahead of the army. They were so stim, but TL loses his outwards hatcheries on both sides. This hurts him a lot right in the income. Because, of course, it's his other bases that are starting to mine out right now. And he's got the workers, but not the mineral patches to effectively mine off of at the moment. So that's going to really sting. But anyways, to go back to the comment, Greener Goblin wrote, I'd pay to see Husky and Rifkin have a boxing match. But you wouldn't need to, because I'd win, as I would actually show up for my fans. And not fucking burn and destroy them through a really shitty YouTube video 10 years after the fact. So I think I win. No bets needed. TLO, by the way, is in a very interesting position right now. If he gets to the top of the ramp, even with things like drops in play, if he gets to the top of the ramp with these Lurkers, he's going to control production. Actually, holds this ramp too. Scan goes down, but so much of the bio dies in the process. There's still more Lurkers to contest. Luckily, there's a lot more scans where that came from, but TLO's going to be the one to tap out. GG. I think he had a little more steam in the engine, but I think the tap out was appropriate. Future will take the series 2-0 and advance on to the round of 8.